Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Everton 1. The penultimate game of the season. Everton unable to take the 3 points, but did get a last gasp equaliser at Molineux. Ped and Ned were there. There you go. There you go. They were there to celebrate it. Got Jack on the sofa again today. Let's go to you, Jack. We needed the win. We didn't get it. However, it could be a huge point, couldn't it? That late equaliser from Yerry.
Could be an absolutely massive point. That point could end up being the difference on the last day. And after such a flat and awful performance, it was still almost frustrated after the game, even though you've had a 99th minute equaliser. That was such a mix of emotions when that goal went in. But once you take a step back and you look at it and you say, look, we got a point. We said for a while, 36 points. If we beat Bournemouth, we hit that target now. So we've got a point towards that. A point away at Wolves isn't the worst result, especially to get it in the 99th minute when it looked like we had nothing on for us. So it's a very frustrating one. It's hard to just have one singular emotion to it of just, oh, well, happy 99th minute equaliser. But it still could be a massive point. And if Newcastle do their job tonight because of the results over the weekend, it means that it could be back in our hands.
Fully, yeah. I mean, Ped, we'll go into the game in detail, but just looking at it, coming away from it there, it's 1 defeat and 7 now away. Everton have improved away from home. It's the home form, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's great, but we haven't got another game, have we?
But what were your feelings overall, like coming off the ground?
Coming off the ground, I was quite positive until the Forest game finished.
Yeah.
Because obviously, again, just making it smaller and smaller and smaller, the error for the margin of error. I thought the game, for 20 minutes, I thought we were really on top of them. Half an hour, one injury, and changes the game for me. And it really did change the game, which we'll talk about. Obviously, grabbing a point in the last minute is huge. If, like Jack just said, if Newcastle can win tonight, then it really does put it in our hands massively in terms of a point might be enough, even if both teams win. Obviously, if both teams win with the goal difference, I mean, it just gives us that a little bit more margin, doesn't it? Obviously, we all want to win on Sunday, and like we said for a long time, we all thought 4 points was going to be enough from after what happened at Brighton. Now it mightn't be enough. Obviously, if Leicester win tonight, or it mightn't be enough, or if Leicester even get a draw tonight, it mightn't be enough. But that's all you could ask for. So yeah, I was disappointed because of what happened. The game was a bit of a mess after that half an hour. Things went against us massively. When you look at what the team was when we finished that game, to get a point out of it was absolutely huge. And obviously that, as we get closer to Sunday, you're going to have to start looking at that team and go, how on earth are we going to make a team out of this that can go and get the 3 points? But yeah, got to be positive. Got to be positive.
We've got to, haven't we, Jack? Because obviously we're going into what is a huge week now for Everton, building up to this game, and said it many times, should never even be in this position. It's a disgrace as a football club. Not saying we shouldn't be in this position because we're hard done to and we've been unlucky this season. We haven't. We're down the bottom.
We're there on merit,
because we're there on merit. We're going to finish for the first time in our history with less points than games played. It's absolutely been awful all season. We haven't got the attacking options in we needed, and it's hammered us all season. I think with better forward players, with goals in it, Everton would have been all right this season. But we're going into the week. The news is broken today that it looks like MSP have signed an exclusivity agreement with Farhad, which means that's quite close to them buying into the football club. And we've got to use that as a positive as well as change. But the weekend, Dominic Calvert-Lewin was fit. Everyone was relieved, and we went out there with the opportunity of winning the game against the team who'd already got themselves safe. However, if you look at the results lately, they've beaten a lot of teams at Molineux. Leeds had almost a freak win there.
It was an outlier, wasn't it?
Which was an outlier because they won a lot of games. Beat teams like Crystal Palace, who were on a great run, and beat Villa last time out, who were on a great run. I think they beat Chelsea as well. But they've had good results. So a point at the end of the day really isn't that bad a result. But when you've seen that team, you've seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin in there, were you hopeful that this, we could get the 3 points we needed?
Yeah, well, I've been hopeful all week about it just because of the magnitude of the game, and I've been very like a switch just on terms of will we go, will we stay, and after the Brighton result, I've just tried to adopt an attitude of, look, we can do it, we can stay up. Let's go for it, let's back them, let's be positive. So I did carry that mentality into the game. I was slightly alarmed by the team sheet, not because I thought it was wrong, just because of what we were missing. I wasn't sure on the formation, and I think a lot of people are unsure on that. But for the game itself, if you said to me beforehand, look, you're going to lose your striker and your right back through injury, and Michael Keane's going to be playing up front, but you'll get a point, you'd go, you know what, that's probably the best we can do in them circumstances. I'll have that. So yeah, it's one of them. Obviously a win makes the situation so much more comfortable. But we've still got a point, and it is a precious point. I'm sure that must be more than 3% of our current points that we had going into it. So, you'll take it. Is it good enough? No, but the team isn't good enough. The club's not good enough. Everything about the club currently isn't good enough. So you've got to take what you can get.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we started the game quite brightly, really. We had a great effort by Dom, which the crowd might have gone in.
Looked close.
Because the net bustled it at the side net. It was a lovely little shot on the turn, and he had a couple of moments, Dom, where I thought he should have done better.
Yeah.
2 headers.
Obviously, it was a weird start to the game, because obviously you had McNeil playing left back, and you had Traore going up against him. And there was that almost finding out for 5 minutes where he was going to be sort of where, and I thought we settled down really well. And I thought once we got a few set pieces in, Dom, that chance was brilliant. It was a ball in, knocked down, Dom put it wide, but I thought, and then got a few corners, and the keeper was fancied himself every time, and we were getting a little bit of joy there. And we'd knocked a few over, and I just looked at him and thought, if this continues, we'll win this, because. As I said, it was all down to our left-hand side, their right-hand side. They left loads of space because Traore doesn't track back.
No. And
I thought we were getting more joy out of there because Dom was doing really well. I fancied them against those 2 centre-backs as well. So, yeah, early on, I had no danger, and they didn't do much at all. It was very much end of the season game for them. You could tell by the atmosphere, the sun was out. Very nervous in the away end. You could feel the tenseness of it, because everyone knew it was our opportunity. But I was really encouraged by the early play, and I just thought, we'll get something here, we'll score, we'll get something. And it's just a case of maybe holding on, because as you mentioned before, their record is so good at home recently. Normally 1-0 wins. They haven't been conceding too many, but obviously that all changed when Patterson went down. Worst thing about that is it didn't look like anything at the time. No. That was the worst thing.
It was innocuous. He went in for a tackle, and I think he planted his leg, and I think the stretching for it has tweaked his hamstring. He tried to carry on, but you could see he was distraught. He was punching the floor and everything when he had to go off. And the problem with that is, and where Everton, listen, I just said before, we're where we are because we're where we are for lack of quality. But within that, there is an element of bad luck. We didn't have bad luck. We'd have no luck at all, and that's played out for us through Dominic Calvert-Lewin just not being fit all season. Basically, he comes back for a couple of games and is out again. It's played out of losing Seamus Coleman, and then losing Nathan Patterson in the same game. Oh, and losing Michalenko on the other side. It's like, imagine losing like both your, all of your fullbacks straight away.
All of them, though. We've got 4
that's it.
Injured.
Exactly. Vinagre, who may well or may not have played, and people can look and go, or whatever. We don't, but at least he is a left back or a left wing back. So our fullbacks have just gone for games, and then to lose Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well, and it was to see Patterson limp off. And then you're looking at the bench and going, well, what are we doing here? So it was a choice, a bit of a Hobson's choice. It was Mason Holgate or Michael Keane to play right back, and the manager went with Michael Keane. But it's amazing now, or maybe it isn't amazing, but that did, like Ped said, that did undo that positive start for us, didn't it?
No, but straight away the team's just disjointed, isn't it? And Michael Keane comes on. I understand Keane coming on, because after Holgate's performance last week, I completely understand the manager not wanting him in the team. I get that completely. But don't ask Michael Keane to play the same role that Patterson was doing.
Yeah.
Patterson was pushing up the pitch. He was basically a right wing back.
He didn't know what to do though. And I felt really sorry for him again, being put in that position. But also the other thing that happened was Traore swapped sides.
He did, yeah.
He swapped sides straight away. And all that did was, that put him obviously one-on-one. But where we'd been getting loads of joy down our left-hand side, that suddenly stopped because they started defending properly. So suddenly we had a double problem. And Michael Keane, there was one, because it was right on our side, and it was near when they scored. And we've got the ball and there's loads of space on the right hand side, and Michael Keane doesn't know whether to go or not, and he ends up going. He ends up going, and the ball doesn't come to him, and you can just watch. You're watching him trudge back, and they're gone. They're up the pitch.
Should he come on as a third centre back?
100%. I honestly don't, and I honestly feel like the manager has looked at the situation. And what made it worse was when Patterson went down. He went down and he come back on because it was almost like we're not ready for this. Yeah. And then the physio's doing all this. He's saying he's gone, and he goes back on, and the physio's going, "No, you're gonna have to come off." He didn't want to go off, and he's going, "No," and they're all saying, "Go down, go down," and he's like, "I'm all right." And he's just like, so that what I didn't understand was in that time, could they have not formulated a plan of gone, right? We're going to go to 3, and we're going to put Dwight McNeil left wing back, and Iwobi's going to go to right wing back, or James Garner's going to go to right wing back, whatever it was. But to see him come on and go, he's going right back. It's just like, it was bemusing to me, because we were getting up the pitch, and we were likely to be hit on the counter attack. That it was so strange to see that happen. And you're watching, are they going to go to a 3? They're going to go to... No, he
He has made some strange choices, Sean Dyche, hasn't he? For like, well, like, not digging him out too. Listen, he is what he is, isn't he? And his game plan. I think Lampard was a bit like this. It's like, they set up well. He set up well for it, but then when something happens in the game, and it might, listen, the caveat to this might be, you just look at the bench and go, we can't react to anything because we haven't got the same. But he has been a few moments, I think, where I've seen that, I was never as surprised about Lampard doing it, because he just didn't have that in him. But I am surprised when Sean Dyche doesn't have it in him, because he is really experienced, and he's done. Yeah, really. And he's been a manager for longer, and he's had periods of success, and he's kept Burnley up against it with a poor squad at times and all that. It has surprised me sometimes. He's looked like he's a little bit lost on the line. It's like, I don't know what to do. And maybe that occasion on Saturday, Keane should have just gone in. He should have just gone, go to a 3, because we finished the game against City, albeit Connor Cody was in the 3, but with Connor Cody in there, and we looked a lot better. I know City took the foot off the pedal a bit, but we looked a lot more balanced than having, because we haven't got a natural right back. Were you a little bit surprised that he didn't just change it immediately to a 3?
That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought, you know what, fair enough. There's no options on the bench. You're going to change shape, bring another centre back on. We've obviously played that way before. You'd assume he's got like a plan B, C and D as well. But when Keane come on, and look, I've been critical of Michael Keane in recent weeks. He's had poor performances, but I can't say a bad word about Keane for Saturday, because he was out. I just feel bad for him.
4 different positions, and none of them were centre back.
No, he didn't play his own position once, and I just feel bad for him more than anything, because you can't expect Michael Keane to play well at right back. He's
Michael
not a right
Keane
back.
Doesn't want to do anything else other than play brilliantly for Everton. You can tell he loves it. He loves the football club. He wants to give his best. He's not amazing, but for God's sake, don't hang the kid out to dry.
On one of my reaction videos, I think it may have sounded like I was being critical for him on the goal, and I wasn't. I was just saying, you've brought Michael Keane on to play right back. You've got to expect him to be up the pitch, because that's where we need somebody. Because the way James going to come naturally. He's going to come inside and then take that space up, and then the fullback's going to go wide, and you need to have the fullback to go wide to create the space for James Garner, so he can go either way. And I think people have been critical. I thought I was being, and I wasn't. I was looking at the situation going, it's Michael Keane. You honestly think he can do that? And I just thought that was a really strange one. I actually thought, why not just put James Garner right back?
Yeah.
Just, the kid can play football. He knows how to defend.
Well against
he knows how to defend. He knows how to keep. He's got a little bit of something. There's something definitely there. He's an intelligent footballer.
And he gives everything, doesn't
And he gives everything, and you can see and I just thought, stick him at right back. And he didn't. He makes an instant change, which I just thought, what are you... Like, the thing is, listen, I don't know. Obviously, before the game, you would expect professional sports teams to go, if he gets injured, he comes on. If he gets injured, he comes on.
Well, maybe that's all.
Every scenario needs to be looked at. Do we go 3 at the back? Do we keep 4-4-2? I just thought it was a really strange choice with the amount of joy we were getting up their right-hand side and on their left-hand side to make that decision.
There was a lot of space because their fullbacks took right.
And that's not being, as said, that's not being critical of Michael Keane. Because
not natural for him.
McNeil was showing how to play. McNeil played fullback brilliantly and just did what he normally does without being just a little bit conscientious. He got caught out in the first 5 minutes, being a little bit not quite, maybe edging his bets against Traore. But once he learned, Traore never bothered him all day. He was great.
That was what's frustrating about the goal. Let's have a look at the goal, because there's instances here, and obviously the stills. Yeah. This is us breaking, and we have the ball, and Garner done really well. Actually, he's attacked the space, and I've got Decore circled because he takes up a lovely place there. There's no one near him. And we're pushing him back. We've got Michael Keane over on the right. Everton have got 7 players in this attack, and Dwight McNeil is out of shot below where it says programme. Just out of shot there. If we take it on one, so Garner's played the ball in, is carrying his run on, and he's going into the arrow there where I've said. Now we've got Garner who's next to him here, James Garner. Now if Decore just takes a touch and gets his back in, we've got options here. We can roll it off to James Garner. He can dink it. Look at the space Michael Keane's got.
That's it.
And I've got Adama Traore circled. Keane's 15 yards behind him. So if Decore uses his body and holds it, he can either pop it back to Garner, pop it off to James Garner, or dink it out to Michael Keane. He plays a first time pass, take it on, and we're in trouble. It goes straight to Adama Traore. Now this is the opportunity for Idrissa Gana Gueye to pull him down. He would have had to take a booking for it. It's a professional foul. He bounces off him, take it on one. This is the second opportunity to do it, and this is Onana this time. Drag him down, take the booking. This is where
I can understand why Idrissa Gana Gueye didn't, because he's in his own half, there's loads of space.
No, but I'm saying he's the 2 opportunities.
This is the one.
Once Onana lets him run off him, we do it again. Then for me, take it on again, Ned. Tarkowski's got to come out to him, and he doesn't. He runs, he just basically backs off, which allows Traore the space to run in. And we've got Hwang here. Hwang Hee-chan, circled, nobody.
Because of Keane.
Keane's still halfway up the pitch. Yeah, Onana hasn't thought to get in there either. Traore gets a shot away, Pickford makes a save, it breaks back, and Hwang Hee-chan.
Again, though, I mean, Onana, what I don't understand about Onana is he literally does that thing where he breathes in. You know, someone's walking down the street and you have to do that. He does that. And when he should just go, come on, lad.
Yeah.
I understand Tarkowski, because if he goes to engage him, he goes past him.
No, but I'm saying
no, I know, but that's the moment, isn't it? He's going to leave him. He's on his Traore in full stride at that point. It's like a bleeding bull.
No,
he's in full stride, so you understand. But Onana, just grab hold of him to take the booking, lad.
Or if you've let him bounce, then you've got to sprint it, Chan. You can't leave Hwang Hee-chan on his own.
But also,
especially when there's 4 runners going to Traore on the ball, at least one of them has to be picking him up and knowing that shot's going across goal. So even if Pickford does get a hand to it, it's getting pushed in that direction.
But the other side of it is as well, though, is Decore's got to know there that he's got to have a look around and think, this is where our plays, where it's not just about football, it's about football intelligence. It's looking at the situation going, can Michael Keane get back there? Of where are we in the game? How often do we lose the ball in transition and get punished? It's all the time. We're one of the worst, if not the worst in the league for it. I know people go, it's only a 5-yard pass, but you've got to have that intelligence to think, I've got to either rattle this into him or not give him at all, because if we get caught here...
I don't understand why when that ball's played in by Garner, he isn't just taking a touch, though. Because if it comes in, he should be glancing, I'm on my own. As that comes in, take a touch. And then I've got to pass. I've either got to pass to James Garner, I can roll it back to Idrissa Gana Gueye, or I can take the touch and clip it out towards Michael Keane, who's on his own. Playing loose passes there, when like you just said, we're really poor at transitional turnovers. We do that, it's loose, and they break on it, especially Traore. He's the one threat. We've done that at Goodison. Decore with the knockdown, remember? And he had a chance to foul them, he didn't, and they broke and he win the game.
Decore was terrible, by the way. It was one of his
game.
worst games. Ironically, apparently Everton have just triggered his contract for another year.
Oh, listen.
No, I'm just saying it was like, so they've just apparently...
Of late, he's been...
No, he has, he was just, he hadn't touched the ball, he never really fitted into the way...
If you look at his stats from the weekend, they're terrible. He hardly
he was terrible.
He hardly touched the create nothing.
Even his heat map, it's all, it's there's nothing, there's no, he doesn't really take up anywhere on the pitch, and you could see that watching the game. He was sloppy in possession. He never really found that position, especially obviously after Dom went off as well. It was hard to find that position for him, because I thought second balls for large parts of the game, we were awful. And when Patterson went off, we just looked so... And it's not even on the manager. Manager's made the decision, and he has to get the instructions, and the instructions should have been to Keane, we'll just sit in for now, even if for 10 minutes. But Michael Keane was almost encouraged to go because of the amount of times we got into those areas.
But there was just
and the manager, I think the manager has to look at that situation and go, well, you either sit or you go, or we do it a different way. I don't know, but the whole team after Patterson went off just become chaotic, like really chaotic. Like the whole time after that last 15 minutes, especially after they scored, though, we were just giving the ball away dead cheap, and the midfielders they were in all kinds. They were getting the ball, doing spins, like last game of the season stuff. You know, doesn't really matter. We'll take the mick out of you. You know, the old ladies when they were keeping the ball, all this stuff, and we were just chaotic.
We were ragged.
Just going back to Decore for a sec as well. He did the exact same thing he did for the goal 10 minutes earlier to that as well. Got a pass into his feet, back to goal, lazy layoff.
Yeah,
and we spoke about this on Final Words after Brighton as well, where Decore, he's effectively our number 10, he's our most advanced midfielder. And we said you don't have to be the classic idea of a number 10 to be effective as an advanced midfielder. But when he's forced to replicate, you know, a passing game, that is the weakest area of his game in terms of knowing how to weight his passes. Because it's the Goldilocks thing, you know, they're either too hot or too cold. It's never just right. They're always overcooked and too fast into the feet, or like that too sloppy.
But it's worrying though, isn't it? Isn't it worrying? Isn't it worrying when the worst part of a player's game is him touching the ball?
I think a lot of Evertonians have been critical of him in the past during across his Everton career. That's been the criticism. It hasn't been, can he get about the pitch, because he can. It hasn't been, does he compete well? You know, he never tries. He always tries. It's that taking care of the ball. And when we're on a break, again, full Ross and Rachel here, but when we're on the break like that and Garner's played it in, you've got to be comfortable enough to take that with your back to goal. Take it, get a touch, and make it get there. If you lay it off, the thing what annoys me about the whole thing, right, is he's got the whole picture in front of him. He's got the whole pitch. It's come to him. He can see James Garner. He can see Idrissa Gana-Gueye making the run. He can see Michael Keane's this way. Dom's behind. He should be looking as that's coming. What's on? Right, I've got space. Get a touch. I'm going to make sure that pass gets there. Take care of the football. If he rolls that into Garner and Idrissa Gana-Gueye's back onto it, we're in the box.
The one thing I would say...
It's 7 men forward.
The one thing I would say about Wolves, the back four, is the back four never went anywhere all day.
No.
It sat on the edge of their box, and it didn't leave actually...
They have a good structure.
It didn't leave any space for Decore to find. They never... You know, their whole line just stayed all day together. No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. So Decore couldn't naturally find any pockets of space to get on the ball. He was you know, whereas like when we played Brighton, they were getting dragged up. They want to play up the pitch. They actually, we talked about this last week when we did. Well, certainly when I did the preview, we somehow it'll be a game of like, we don't want the ball and they don't want the ball, and they let us have a lot of the ball, and they just sat back and they wait. They almost did to us a little bit, like certainly for the goal, of what we did to Brighton.
Yeah.
They weren't that interested.
We're not as good as Brighton.
No, because they've got Wolves are a decent side without a centre forward. Simple as that. Yeah. They take care of the ball really well. They've got good pass and play. They've got a lot of good footballers, and they know that they can move the ball quickly up the pitch, because they are good passers of the ball. I mean, in the first half, the amount of times they played that left to right switch to Traore to try and catch out McNeil, they must have done 3 or 4 times, and every time he got on it, but then McNeil dealt with it. They're a good side, but they dragged us in, and it was just that key moment. And I'm not criticising Keane. What I'm saying is, it's just because Keane was on the pitch, we didn't have that, because I don't know, Decore might have looked at it and gone, well, I'll give that to Patton. It's Michael Keane, I'm not going to give him it. And he undercuts one. He's gone full full cold porridge.
That's what I can't accept, that he hit it between the two and take a touch and make sure it gets through a blue shirt. Because you have to do it in them moments where they are sat in and they have got a nice structure and you aren't on the ball all the time. That was a good counter-attack for us. We had 7 men up front, 7 in and around their box, take care of the pass.
But that showed how much joy we'd been having, though.
Yeah.
That showed that, as I said, we'd been lulled into that. We'd been pulled into that. And they just waited for that one moment where, again, it's not because of Michael Keane, but just simply because what had happened.
Keane was miscast into a role that didn't fit him.
Very much so. Very much.
But that was I think that was the first attempt at goal he had as well. They scored. Everton had had 6 attempts at goal in the opening half an hour. I think they put the thing up. It was 50-50 almost on the possession. Yeah. But Everton had 6 attempts and they'd had none. And then they broke on it 1-0. Then they had a couple of quick ones because we went ragged till half time. They controlled it till half time. Then. But the second, obviously we lost Dom right before half time again.
Is this not another one where we could have just waited and not made the sub
till half time?
I know it was 4 minutes and he went down right in half time, but is this not another one where the manager, listen, I don't know the extent of the injury, he might have gone, it's gone. He was upset, I could see that. But again, I was thinking, can't you give yourself a little bit of time here to make the sub? I don't know.
Well, I think Gray was always going to come on, wasn't he? Because he probably would have been, you're talking plan B, he probably would have been the one who started. If Dom wouldn't have been fit, he'd have gone with Gray, wouldn't he? I've seen some people go, we should never have started him. That wasn't my thinking. My thinking was if he was fit, he has to start.
Yeah.
Because he
had to play if he was available.
He had to play. And listen, he could have had a hat-trick before he went off. Really. The header, one header from a Wobie's cross, he should have scored with. Really.
I was going to say, but it's not the same injury he was out with last week. Last week was his groin.
Yeah, no, it's a hamstring.
And it was his hamstring. So it's not even, again, this shows the issue with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and we've said this loads of times. It's not one injury. No. It's his actual physical body.
It's his body. Problem, no.
And it's recurring again and again. And I put no blame on the kid whatsoever. I do not feel like this is a kid who doesn't want to play for Everton. I heard murmurs of people in the ground having a go at him, and I just don't see that myself. This is a kid I thought who put everything into the game again, and it just maybe it was a different scenario, wouldn't have played this week, but he had to play and he wanted to play, and this is what's happened. And
he sprinted for a ball. It was Iwobi tried to play him through and overhit the pass for a start. He'd have gone into his feet. He overhit it. Dom's gone after it, and to be honest, at the time, I thought Collins, because they went down together, I thought Collins would need him in the back of the head because he went down like that, and Collins was straight over to him, and he was like that, and I was thinking as he caught him, as they've gone, I didn't for 1 minute think his leg had gone. And then you can see how upset he is, and it's zoomed in on him, and I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake. Because when you see him upset, you know as a player, don't you? If you've ever done a hamstring when you're playing a game of footy, you just go, it's gone.
It's not something you can play around.
You can't run it off. You can't go give it a few minutes, I'll see how it is. Well, you can if you feel like it's weak, but if you know when
it's gone.
And if he's had it before, his head immediately will be, I've got to come off.
He knows exactly what it feels like, doesn't he, when it's a bad one? And, you see it, like you were saying, in murmurs in the ground, and you see it on Twitter, it's like, oh, why can't he take some injections and play through it? It doesn't always work like that. And I think hamstrings one where, you can't just, take a few painkillers, and that's your leg not being able to function properly at that point. And I think, I do feel bad for him, so he'd love to play every game for us. I think he would love to. I don't think he wants to be injured. I don't see why he would. And we shouldn't be relying on a striker who's as injury prone as Calvert-Lewin. And like you say, it's not just one injury. He's just susceptible to many injuries in many different muscles. That's just the way it is for him, unfortunately. But he had to play at the weekend because we're such a much better team with him in the side. Why are we in a situation where we're relying on a player who stands a very high chance of being injured every game? Why isn't there an option? Why are we still doing that? We knew last year.
That's the true fact of it, isn't it? The true fact of it, this is a lad who's clearly had to play football in many different scenarios where he's not fit, and he's had to play, and we have pushed him to this point. I said this the back end of Carlo's last season, when he was starting to pick up injuries and we weren't making changes, and it was, we'll be all right, we've got him and we've got Richarlison. and it was becoming evident almost that the more muscle he was putting on, that the more weight, more injuries he was picking up. But obviously, you put muscle on to protect yourself. And as a football club, we've absolutely fucked this kid. I don't care what anyone says. I've heard murmurs of we've sacked physios over it. We've whether that's right or that's wrong. We have not helped this kid. You know, we've not helped this kid at all. You've got a situation where every week people are been asking the manager for months and months, when's he going to be back? When's he going to be back? And he's like, oh, you know, we don't. And it's like, because the manager hasn't got any. No, there's nobody else. There's nobody else. Last year with Richarlison, we got away with it barely. And this season, it's again, the simple fact is we bought a lad in who has got absolutely zero comparison to him in terms of how of his structure, and we've done this to him. We've done this to this lad. We, as a football club, we've done this. And anyone who has a go at the player, I think to me, it's not on. You should be looking at the club and looking and going, we've spent money all over the park. We've spent lots of money on the defence, and yet the most important place on the pitch, the most important place where we actually have got a quality player, who you can tell it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin's a top player. You can tell that when he plays and when he doesn't play. And yet you didn't think to protect the asset himself, and you didn't think that as a Premier League football club you should have another one like him, and then another one. And that to me is scandalous. Another scandalous decision by this football club. And even you go to January, you're like, we'll get you one. The untruth, the shocking untruth of Farhad Moshiri. We'll get you one, and you didn't. And you can make the excuse, a guy walked out. Well, why did he walk out? Because you sacked the fella. You sacked the fella who's going to play.
Can I interject here? Because this isn't to defend him. The lad who was coming in isn't a striker.
No, he's not. No, exactly.
He's a winger. Arnaud Danjuma is a winger, and quite clearly not a very good one, because Spurs don't give him any time, right? He is not Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He wouldn't have come in and got 10 goals for Everton, or 8 goals, or 6 goals for Everton. He just wouldn't. He's a wide player who's got a goal in him, which is good. That's what Everton needed as well, because we don't have that. You know, without Dwight McNeil, we would be fucked. Without his goals, we'd be in massive trouble, wouldn't we? Because no one else is really. The Corey's had a little go. Maupay, Yerry Mina scored more goals against Wolves this season than Neil Maupay scored goals for Everton. That was Mina's second of the season against Wolves. You know, Evan Ferguson got more in 20 minutes yesterday for Brighton than Maupay's got all season. These are the things. Everton Football Club, said it before. When you're a football club, it blows my mind that you don't load your squad with lads who can put the ball in the net. It's almost like there's people at the football club, recruitment-wise, and everybody else who don't understand what football is. Football's scoring goals. If you're a midfielder, you can go and play centre-back, or you can play right-back, if you have to. Trying to put someone up front and be specialised in scoring goals or away, it doesn't happen, because it's such a specialised position. And therefore, all of your focus really should be on forward players, wingers who get goals, strikers who get goals, because you are without it. And Everton are in the mess they're in because of the recruitment, because they haven't gone. When we had Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we still should have had another two.
Yeah, of course.
We should have had another two who you go, well, they could play. Why should Everton, even with all the money, I understand it if it was Brighton or Brentford, say, or Fulham, maybe, a football club that hasn't got loads of money, thinking we can only really carry one or two. Everton Football Club spent a lot of money and have been obsessed with just having two lads who just are fit every week. Doesn't matter what's on the bench, because they're all right. You know what I mean? It's berserk, and now we're going into a game at the weekend where we haven't got a good enough replacement. It's just a fact. We haven't. Maupay's not good enough. Ellis Sims isn't good enough. Damari Gray's not good enough.
Not a striker either.
But anyway, he went with Damari Gray. We come out second half, and the second half was a bit of a mismatch, because Everton with the team looking for a goal. Wolves decided to play on the, which is fine. They didn't need the win. It didn't matter to them. They decided to play on the counter attack. But because it was a little bit of a mismatch, because Michael Keane was out at right back, you know, Damari Gray was through the middle. We just we just didn't have anything creative in the final third for large part of that second half, did we?
Just didn't flow at all, did it?
No.
And I think we did improve down the right side once Garner was there, James Garner, which just raises the question further, why didn't he put him there at the start? If, you know, he's identified him as someone who can play there if needs must. Because in that system, with your right wing back, what you're looking for is someone who works hard and has technical ability on the ball. James Garner has both of those, and he had a decent game at right back. But all through that second half, it just seemed like a nervy performance. So, no, people say about this team, they don't care, whatever. I think you can say a lot about their mental ability. I wouldn't say that they don't care. I'd say they lack the confidence in themselves in hard situations. I wouldn't say that they don't care, because you can see it when we scored, how much they care. But it was just the confidence within themselves at that point, I think, was a massive factor. It looked nervy, and we did have some good chances in the first half before we went a goal down, and then there was less of that in the second half. And, you know, Wolves, credit to them, I know it angered a lot of our fans, but they did slow the game down in the end to their own detriment, really, because there was so much time added on. But, you know, through large sections of that game, they managed to slow the game down, you know, make fouls, pick up free kicks where they can, keep the ball out of play. I think Ruben Neves did the victory lap when he was on his way off, didn't he?
Yeah.
And they did a good job for most of it in terms of slowing the game down and stopping us getting a flow when we were struggling to flow anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that made it... We didn't look like scoring, did we? And that's why it was such a shock when we scored in the 99th minute. But we didn't look like scoring, and, you know, we played our own part in that with our lack of cohesion on the ball. But I think Wolves did slow us down as well.
Yeah, they stuck to their game plan, didn't they? Which was, we're winning one, it's up to you to come and get something now. And they look at Everton and go, we haven't really got much in it. You know, they're okay defensively, they're okay battling in midfield. It's the creative side of the game which we couldn't get the Mari Gray 1v1.
Yeah.
And the one time we did play a great little ball over the top, he went and shoved the lad in the back instead of just running. And he would have been in. And he's like, stupid foul. And you're like, you're not getting away with that, you know, that kind of thing. And when we did get into the final third, like Iwobi had a shot, which the keeper made a decent save from. He hit another one wide. The Mari Gray had one, which the keeper flapped at and pushed wide, and another one got headed away. But there wasn't really any clever interchange.
No, we're not
the final
we're not a good team, are we? We're not a good
certainly not in the final third.
We're not a good press, like we don't pass the ball well. And it was a lot of hit and hope balls, diagonals, and then I just couldn't believe how chaotic that second half was. It was truly chaotic. Michael Keane was getting further up the pitch as the game went on. It was like McNeil was getting further up the pitch, and then the Mari Gray, supposed to be playing centre forward, was drifting over to the left.
Well, we had two wingers in the middle.
Alex Iwobi was starting to go up front. It really was just getting absolutely chaotic. We made a couple of subs, then he pushes Keane. We end up with Keane and Mopai up front. They're playing long balls to Keane, and Keane can't win anything. He's not winning anything. And we're gambling on second balls. They weren't committing men, apart from the one that they had with Mathew Kunis, who obviously burst past James Garner with pace, I think it was, wasn't it? And he forced Pickford. Was it Nunes? Sorry, caused Pickford to make a big save, which was a big moment. And I think there was a little bit of frustration in the crowd of, why aren't we having a goal? But I actually turned around to Ned, and Ned was flapping at that point. I said to Ned, turned around, said, 5 minutes to go, you watch. And I thought that's what happened. It was like, stay in the game, just stay in the game. Don't give anything away, just stay in the game.
You've got to, haven't you?
Yeah, just don't concede that second goal. And I thought defensively we handled them really well. Second half, they didn't do anything apart from a few counter-attacks. And you're just waiting for that one moment, but there was such a lack of quality. Iwobi wasn't opening them up. McNeil obviously was playing deeper, so we couldn't get in those positions to shoot. And it was just becoming so frustrating. And when you've got 8 minutes to go, by the way, and you see that Mopai and Holgate are coming on, you're just like, what the...
Are you surprised Sims never got lashed on?
No, because clearly the manager doesn't like him. It's as simple as that. I don't know what Jack thinks, but I've said this from basically the very start. Apart from the Chelsea game, what he actually done to him.
But what's Mopai done?
No, I know that. I know. I'm
so
not.
Sims has already won
I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of him. But he obviously feels like this thing of that seniority that managers get affected by, and it's why
fixated
players don't get enough. Young players, it's the word trust. It all comes down to that word trust. It's almost that thing of players just automatically think, I've got to play in this position, I've got to do this thing, and you think young players are just going to switch off and go, la, 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 I'm a big blue whale. And, wait, Ned.
No, in terms of being shocked, no, because Dyche doesn't rate him, like Ped's just said. In terms of logic, yeah, because, pumping balls into the box, we've got a centre-back up there, just where his only instruction is just win an header or at least force a second ball. Got Ellis Sims there, who is more similar to Dom than Maupay is. You can just say, look, you're a presence, you're a big lad. Even if you don't win this header, the second ball, we can get something off that. Seeing that against Leicester the other week, our equaliser was scored through winning the second ball because Calvert-Lewin went up for an header. And because he's a presence in the air, they have to take that seriously and go up there, and they can't always get it away cleanly. It got headed to Iwobi and we scored. That's what we were trying to replicate there, but instead of doing it with, like Dom, a striker who's over 6 foot, he's strong, he takes a bit of dealing with in the air. We were trying it with Michael Keane, and again, not his role. Can't blame him for it not working. It did work later on. He got a ball into Mina, but, for many attacks passed us by because it wouldn't work because that weren't his role.
Maupay has a presentable chance that he tries to do an overhead kick with. He's like 3 yards out. If his positioning had been right, he'd have scored. When he's gone in and he's all over the... I just... Again, single people. I just don't understand what he does. He touched the ball about 3 times. He does nothing. And he's not bringing anything.
I think the idea was Michael Keane was supposed to win the first ball and maybe Maupay would get on the second ball.
But that's what Sims would do. That's the biggest thing for me. I just don't... You're right. Like
I'll be honest.
No, but Jack's just nailed it. Yeah. It surprised, as in, now I understand he never plays him. So Dave, if he was never playing him the week after he scored against Chelsea, he was never playing him. But logic tells you this kid is more likely to get you a goal than this kid here.
When they made the sub, for not even a second did it cross my mind that Sims was coming on. Yeah. I never sat there, oh my God, it never even crossed my mind. Yeah. It was just that's the way it is. I looked at it and thought, none of the other, we've got two goalies on the bench again. Wow.
The only 3 that didn't get in are the 3 kids.
Yeah, and the kids are never playing. It's as simple as that. That's what the manager. That's why when you look at the situation with the manager, you have to look at it, the whole thing, and go, are any kid ever going to get a chance with them? Well, maybe not right now, but you're looking for a goal. But as I said, it never crossed my mind. It just didn't cross my mind. When Michael Keane goes up, you just go, yeah, that's where we are as a football.
I didn't go with him for that.
I didn't have a go.
Loads of us have gone, just put Keane up front, you may as well. So I understood that. Many managers have done it. It was just...
There's a desperation,
it's the person who's alongside
the manager's... Listen, the manager could be in here now and go, lads, what are you on about? It worked. It worked.
Oh, I got Keane up front. I've got no problem. I keep saying it. There was no issue.
He'll look at that.
It was who was next to
But he'll look at that.
Maupay didn't make any difference.
Nobody will look at that and go, that worked. Holgate came on. He looked after right back. I stuck someone up front, another person up front, who actually might have took a defender away, and no one's looking at the 3 centre-backs who actually are our most creative players.
I was open. We were going to have an Alisson moment when Pickford come up for the corner. I was thinking, come on, because he was like that, Pickford thinking, is he going to... No, he's going to have the header. And the corner missed him, didn't it? And he went on, but we get the throw in from it, and obviously at that stage you're thinking, this is, your attention is switching then to go, Arsenal are going to have to win, West Ham are going to have to win, we're relying on everyone else. And we still are, of course, but we done well really for the goal, to be fair, the 3 centre-backs. So let's have a look at the stills from the goal. We get a throw in. And what was really mad about this throw in is we take it short and McNeil gives it back to Gray, and if Matheus Nunes actually goes and closes Gray down, we can't put the ball in, but he doesn't. He allows him. Gray actually takes a step back as if it's a free kick. He puts a ball into the box. Tarkowski does absolutely brilliantly.
See, the goalie, right?
The goalie should have just
The goalie been cocky all day.
Yeah,
he'd been dead cocky, taking everything, and every time anyone went near him, he was like, it's a foul.
Well, he just doesn't deal with it. Michael Keane does really well. If we take it on again, you've got him there. Tarkowski's knocked it down, got Keane circled there. He's onto it like a flash. We go again. And this is where he makes a really good decision here, Michael Keane, because he could just lash at this goalwards because the keeper's out. Yeah. Take it on again.
Do you know what's genuinely brilliant about this, though, with Michael Keane? Michael Keane probably understands that he has got time, because if anyone touches him, it's a penalty. So he actually does.
He's dead calm. He does brilliantly. Take it on again, Ned. This is the ball. Mina's circled in the middle now. Keane could just last this at the goal. Iritson goes out for a corner, doesn't he? Just keeps it alive back in the danger zone. And then there we go, ball across, and Yerry Mina's on hand, stays alert, and is on hand to sweep it in. And you've got that celebration. You've got the minute where, or the seconds where you're going, is there a VAR check here? What's happening? Is it going to count? So you're holding your breath, aren't you? And then it's given, and obviously it's.
I honestly thought they were going to pull it. Because I thought
you see a goalie go down, you think.
I thought they're going to give a foul here on the keeper or something, and our players were a little bit like, and as they walked back, the ref just went like that, and then just went, and then you're thinking, just blow the whistle now, just blow the whistle, because there isn't enough time for anything. Blow the whistle. And
obviously he did blow the whistle, and Everton have got, like Jack said right at the very start, could be a massive point. You know, it's that you can't win it, don't lose it, obviously, but it's a thing where when you're the rivals like of a team and they get such a late goal, you go, don't you? You open it to defeat because it's another point on that board, and it's one that certainly, if you're looking at Leeds United, that extra point means that Everton, they could actually beat Spurs 1-0, and we drew 1-1 with Bournemouth, we'd stay up because of that point. That's what it's like because of the goal difference. That's how huge it is now. If Newcastle beat Leicester, again, it's a thing of, you know, we have to look. We only need a point with that anyway because of that point. So it could actually be a absolutely magnificent point in the end.
The thing is, we'll be hoping it doesn't come down to that. Would love to be a lot more safer than just on goal difference, because that's something that could change quite instantly as well. But it's an insurance policy, isn't it? And that's what everything is, because a win would have been the same. That wouldn't have been us safe with the games to come. But it's just another look. It's better off than nothing. It's something. It's a point on the board, and to Wolves fans that'll feel like a loss because you can see them.
I'll just clarify: we would have been safe if Newcastle would have beat Leicester tonight, the way the results went. But no, you're right. There is that extra, isn't it? That little thing you're going, well, yous have still got to do something. Like Leicester tonight, Everton's point has gone. You've got to go there and. Like Keegan,
that's it. It changes.
You've got to go there and get something.
It changes it changes then, doesn't it? Leeds had to go to West Ham, and maybe if we got beaten, they would have gone a point. To be brilliant here, you know, where would have been.
Well, they'd have gone level,
wouldn't
he? So they had the swing,
and just so having that point, just putting that pressure on the opposition, and.
What about the confidence boost for the players?
Well, I was about to say the players will the way the players will look at it is. We've had our centre forward go off, our right back go off, one of our centre backs end up going up front, and we've dug that out and we've dug in, and when you look at it, I don't mean it was brilliant in the game. I thought he was man of the match, and he got the winning goal, and you look at that.
Equalising goal.
Sorry, equalising spell like a winning goal. Equalising goal. All those players will go. We dug in. Yeah. You know, James Garner's playing in different positions. Your McNeil's playing in a different position. Everything against them. Bacon off day. Pickford making a big save where if that had gone in, it would have just been like, you know what I mean? That would have been it.
And another goal, 2 goals. You know.
90th minute +9. It gives the fans were absolutely buzzing.
If you think about how big that save is, he's kept us in it to get us a point. If we'd have lost 2-0, the goal difference is gone with Leeds. It's gone. Exactly. So already you're just going, well, if they do what they need to do, there's nothing. You know what I mean? You're talking Everton are going to have to win 4-0 or something on the line. It's never happened with no strikers. So it has it's give us that little, doesn't feel like it, but it's give us that little bit of momentum still to go. You know what? Even in the 99th minute last week, we didn't give up and we've got a point. And it sets, like you say, this is obviously before Newcastle. If Newcastle, and what a great incentive to them, by the way, win the home game within the Champions League. It's an incredible thing to be able to do at St James's Park. If they do that tonight against Leicester, who are a little bit deflated, then it gives Everton a great opportunity to go to Goodison and go. I mean, it's already, if we win, we'd be safe if Newcastle don't lose. That's a good thing to have. And obviously that can be better if Newcastle have a good result tonight. But just looking ahead very quickly to the weekend, we can still put out a strong side. It's just Michalenko hopefully will be available, which means McNeil can play back higher up the pitch. The right back will be an issue because I imagine Patterson will be out unless he's just tweaked it and it's all. But I imagine that if it's a hamstring, like they think, he's not going to be playing. So there'll be no cold.
But then they can train on, they get
But
someone
can
in there
look at
all
someone,
week, can't they?
Got a
And that
week
could be,
to look at that.
you
now.
might be right, it could be James, they might go James Garner.
I think it'll be Mason Holgate. I think they'll just do it.
Which go
I
again.
just think they'll just say, you're playing.
What about Connor Cody? Could he not play there?
We could go 3 at the back, yeah, with Connor Cody, maybe go 3 at the back.
What would you do up front then? Would it be Gray? Would it be Gray with the Corey off him?
Michael Keane.
Because he was the Michael Keane?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to
I feel
say
like you're not
Sims,
being
but
100% accurate there.
I'd like to say Sims in terms of sticking to what I've been trying to do with Dom, but we're not going to see
be,
that.
is it?
Yeah, so I'd take
you
Gray.
go Gray
over,
then if it
yeah,
was the
I'd go
three?
Gray over Malpe, and I'd ask the Corey to push up
Just
from
a split,
midfield
yeah.
again and try and make runs into the box, make late runs into the box. Tell him not to touch the ball when it's at his feet. Don't mess about with all that. Just stick to what you know, son, and just get yourself in the box and be a nuisance.
Isn't it, again, we've said it a few times just before we finish, is that the other week, I've said this before, I walked out the Fulham game and I walked out the Newcastle game thinking that was it, just because of the way we capitulated. Now, we've lost 4 of the last 5 home games. And Everton's home form is normally not that bad. We have lost a lot over the last few years because we've lost quality. And of course, with COVID, kind of skewed it the other way. But we've got an opportunity. The crowd are going to be electric. I imagine, I don't know whether there'll be any kind of bus welcome to try and count. I don't know. It's early in the week.
I think they've said they're not doing one because
There ain't
it's
no
not
bus.
a late kick-off.
Because there's no bus. Right, okay. So, but the crowd, I imagine, are going to have to create
Doesn't matter
that.
what happens outside, it's what's
And we've
inside.
got the MSP stuff now, which
They play it, where they play
They're
it.
playing. They're
Okay.
right
Yeah,
one's right
MSP.
back. One's at right back and one's at centre forward.
Get S up
And I
front.
guess we could take that as a positive as well this week. So
Do you know what?
let's
I've
just
got no issue
turn
saying
up
this.
and win.
We have to make it horrible.
We do.
We have to make it horrible. We have to make the Bournemouth players feel like they're not getting out of there alive. I don't give a monkeys. We have to be the Lions, and they have to be the Christians.
Gotta be.
And honest to God, it's the Colosseum, and we're going for them.
It's got to
that's
be
it.
that mentality, because for them, and I'm not saying they're on the beach and this, that and the other, but their levels, it's the last game.
Yeah.
For them, there's nothing on it. They say they've had a great season, for them they've come up and they've stayed up. For us, everything is on the line. It's everything. And we've got to prove it now,
It's
players.
everything, isn't it? And our players have got to go in there and think, this is the day. No mistakes. You put everything into it, and if we're at 100% and they're at 98%, as long as we can put the ball in the back of the net, then
We win the game.
We've got, and everyone's got to be like, do everything to put the ball in the back of the net.
Switched on.
Everything. And the fans have to be part of that. You've got to make the Bournemouth fans feel like, well, mate, I'm not interested in this, mate. In 90 minutes, I'm out of here, mate, and I'm on holiday for a month. So, and I'd like to enjoy that holiday. And it doesn't really matter what happens today.
Yeah. They've had a great season for them. They've had a great season. So, and we owed them, to be honest, we owed them big time for them 2 performances. In fact, they beat us the last 4 times they played us, Bournemouth. So we owed them big time certainly for what happened in November, which was horrific. So it's on us to go and do, and it won't be an easy game. But for Everton, like I said, if you'd have offered me this walking out of Goodison at Newcastle and Fulham, if you'd have gone, you know what, potentially, because again, Newcastle haven't played, but potentially, you just have to win on the last day to stay up. I think we'd have all gone, we'll take that.
Absolutely.
Given what's gone on and not having strikers, I think we'd have. But then the hard work starts. The minute that final whistle, if Everton have achieved
Either way, the hard work
Well, the hard work
starts.
starts regardless on Monday, regardless of what happens. Because
It's a bank holiday.
Yeah, if you go by the Premier League, you'll have to leave it till
it's
Tuesday.
bank holiday,
But
isn't
the
it?
hard work starts there. I've changed.
And also, isn't it half term next week?
It is.
So loads of them will probably have the week off because of the kids as well.
Well-
So it might start the week.
And then, the holidays.
Yeah, no one Everton. No one Everton.
Let's start in
Let's
August.
call it July, lads. All right.
No, the hard work starts of turning this football club around, because it's been going the wrong direction ridiculously.
And you know what?
Ridiculously.
Last year, when we stayed up, it seemed that was seen as an achievement. Staying up, there's pictures of it
Chicken and
in Finch Farm. We avoided disaster. That's great, but that's
great,
not an
isn't it?
achievement.
Yeah.
We can't treat this if we stay up on Sunday. We've done it again. See, the boss us. It can't be like that. The last 2 years has to really hit home for this board and make them realise that so many functions of this football club aren't good enough and things need to change dramatically. That has to be the mentality
Where
for
do you
them.
stand on this? Is just my personal opinion.
No pitch
I was just going to
invasions.
say, first and foremost, there's a huge fine hanging over Everton Football Club, and that could lead to points deductions. End of story. That's a fact, which is why you're seeing double security and all that. But two, for me, just don't do it, because I'm not being funny. Last year I understood it and I got it, and I
it was a release.
I enjoyed the scenes after it, because I thought we were gone on a 2-0 down. We were gone. I enjoyed it, but this time there's a very different taste in the mouth. By all means, be relieved. By all means, hug and kiss and celebrate and sing whatever in your seats, and you can still be an emotional outpouring, but please just stay away from the pitch. I don't want any more pitches of our fans running on. Let's do that when we win something. Not when we just...
and listen, I'm not telling anyone what to do, but don't do it. Because the simple fact is, you're absolutely right. Fucking pictures on the wall at Finch Farm and in his office. And he'll be there, by the way, Sunday.
Do you reckon?
Oh, I think he'll be there on Sunday. Oh, big time. I think he will be there. He can't keep himself away. He'll get there at 4:30 in the morning, have a kip in his boardroom, so he's fresh for it. And don't give them the satisfaction.
No. It's not an achievement.
Stay in the stands and tell them what you feel at the end of the game. If you haven't protested, you haven't done all that all season, that's fine, no problem. Know what? Know when people say, wait till the end of the season, this is your opportunity. When that final whistle goes, whatever happens, you tell them people what you think
if
of
they're
them.
Not there, then
they're not there. Shout at the seat. Doesn't matter. Tell the cameras what we feel of these people. These people who have destroyed our football club. They have destroyed our football club, and it's our chance. Don't run on the pitch. Won't do that, by the way, because it'll get twisted. It'll look
like a celebration.
It'll either look like a celebration, or it'll be a disgrace, and we deserve everything we get, and there'll be an inquest, and a Bournemouth player will probably go, someone put a phone in my face. No, honestly, it's not worth it. Think about the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is not making our club look stupid and getting rid of these people who are making our club stupid, and that's it. And I'll
don't be fronting Gary O'Neill like some used to Vieira.
Gary O'Neill will front you back.
No, listen, for me, it's the message that it sends. A, to the Premier League, but B, that we celebrate staying up. Last year I got it and I wouldn't tell, and I'm not telling anyone this time, just for me personally. I hope everyone just stays where they are and celebrates with the relief with the mates and hugs and sings, whatever. Just stay in your areas, and because if we do start becoming a team, let's celebrate staying up. We're accepting everything else that goes on and going, we're just happy to be here for the party. That, for me anyway, is not Everton Football Club. No. That is something that needs to be eradicated, so that when we do start celebrating, it's an achievement, it's winning a trophy, whatever. So let's just try and do that, but let's just win the game, and let's rebuild the minute that whistle goes. Right, we're carrying on for a few minutes.
Stats.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, we haven't even seen the stats. Got carried away.
There
we go.
We didn't look at any player stats.
No, we didn't. Wolves 13 attempts at goal, Everton 18. 5 on target for Wolves, 4 on target for Everton. 1 big chance for Wolves, but 3 for Everton. 53% possession to 47. Everton did win the XG as well, the expected goals. I think Wolves was 151, Everton's was 199. So we deserve to win. If you look at XG. Let's have a quick look at Yerry Mina, because I gave him man of the match and I thought he was excellent at the weekend. That's Dwight McNeil.
No, it's not it. It's definitely Yerry Mina.
Go, Yerry. 1 clearance, 2 tackles, won 75% of his aerial duels, won 6 out of 7 ground duels, had a goal as well, created 1 big chance as well, which isn't on there. I think his passing accuracy was 87% or something like that. And listen, he's come in and he has made a difference in the games he's been in. And we're going to need him again. We're going to need him again on Sunday, and hopefully he'll come up with another big goal and another big performance forever.
Absolutely.
Right, there you go. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It really helps, makes a big difference. We're carrying on, like I say, on Toffee TV Premier. Now we will be answering your question and reading out your points of view. Big thanks to Jack again. Thanks for watching. See you later. Thank you. Welcome back.